Good evening everyone. If you don't know, you should know. My name is Rameez and I am a filmmaker and a film critic. And the day is finally upon us. Batman v Superman is finally here.
They're coming.
Batman v Superman is the latest product to hit theater screens worldwide. You already know who's playing who, and it is directed by Zack Snyder. By the way, I use the word direct very, very loosely. It's interesting, Zack Snyder, the more movies he makes, the more he focuses on the visual aspect of the film rather than the narrative. And it shows on screen as one of our main characters, Superman, played by Henry Cavill, is an absolute lifeless bore. Grass growing would be much more interesting than watching him play Superman. He should be given more to work with when it comes to script and direction. He sadly doesn't get any of that from Zack Snyder. The same can be said for our other superheroes, Batman played by Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot playing Wonder Woman. Now you're going to hear a lot of people say that Wonder Woman was done really well in this film. I personally don't know what hole they're talking out of. It certainly isn't their mouth. Wonder Woman is not done well at all, and I'm not saying this because I read a lot of her comics. I've never read a Wonder Woman comic in my life, but I'm saying this as a character. She's barely on screen. She only has about 20 lines in the film, and she's just silently walking throughout sceneries in the background. Now this might be a bit controversial, but the best part of this film is Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. Not because his performance is great or anything, it's one of the most irritating and annoying performances ever seen, but because the two main superheroes of this film, Batman and Superman, are so fucking dull, and Jesse Eisenberg is so gloriously over the top and annoyingly over the top, that I was enjoying his performance over Batman and Superman's. Now how best to describe Jesse Eisenberg's performance? It's as if he drank a milkshake made of cocaine with some weed sprinkles on top of it, because there are scenes where he's just so stoned out of his mind, and then there are scenes where he just doesn't stop talking. And compare his character to our superheroes who don't even have a single grain of charisma in them, he makes up for an interesting character. It's interesting, when I was watching Batman v Superman, I compared this film to The Phantom Menace. Remember Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi? Both of them were utterly boring characters, like our main superheroes, Batman and Superman. Palpatine was cool because he was actively pursuing his goal, like Lex Luthor in this film, and they're both really over the top as well. It's not all bad though. Some things, some very little things, are much better than Man of Steel. The opening, for instance, actually makes the ending of Man of Steel much better. The first hour is pretty tolerable, as we're seeing all our characters' stories being built separately. It's when all these characters and their storylines start to intersect with each other, that's when the film starts to fall apart on itself. Ben Affleck, for the most of the film, is pretty good as Batman. The script is the main criminal here. In the very beginning of this film, we clearly see that Bruce Wayne thinks that Superman is a problem. The very beginning of this film, he does nothing about Superman until 18 months pass. Plus, his reason for wanting to fight Superman is unclear. Sure, Superman destroyed half a city, but I'm pretty sure Batman's not a perfect fucking snowflake when it comes to property damages. And in Batman v Superman, we see Batman fucking murdering people, which I'm not against, by the way. Newsflash, Batman has killed a couple times. He shot Darkseid with a gun. He killed in the very first Tim Burton movie, by the way. So the killing doesn't bother me. What does bother me is how stupid he is. And this is supposed to be the greatest detective on the planet. Zack Snyder chose to show a more physical Batman than the intellectual Batman. And it's not Affleck's fault. I believe it is the script and the direction's fault that we weren't able to see that, because Ben Affleck does a really good job with what he's given as Bruce Wayne and as Batman. Another thing which I liked about this movie, the product placement was very well hidden. There are no fight scenes where you will see a Sears or Walmart in the background. Now let's talk aesthetic of this film. The film looks really good when it wants to. The interior scenes are really well done, but the fight scenes and the action set pieces are really, really poorly shot. One of them is a Batmobile chase, which fails horribly because of the drab and dull color palette of this film. Let's see, the Batmobile is black, it takes place at night, the guys he's chasing are wearing black, they're shooting guns which are colored black, Batman's suit is black, so it all gets lost in this emptiness, in this black hole of cinematography. The whole point of shooting a superhero film in such a desaturated and drab color palette is so that you can have the superhero kind of stand out from regular people, from the public. But that doesn't help when all the superheroes' costumes are fairly desaturated as well. Superman's costume is a darker shade of blue, Batman's costume is a darker shade of gray and black, and Wonder Woman's costume is more maroon than red. What's annoying is the opening of this film where we see the ending of Man Man of Steel is really well shot, and you know where everything's going on. Location, I keep saying that is one of the most important things in an action scene. There's a brilliant shot where Zod's ship is flying over buildings, and it's a helicopter shot, and as his ship clears all the buildings, we see Bruce Wayne's Jeep underneath it. It tells you where both things are with one shot. It's very efficiently done. Sadly, the movie's lacking a lot of those things in its later fight scenes. The editing of this film is absolutely horrible. First of all, it abuses the cut to black as a transition for the most of the film, and secondly, there are already way too many characters of this film, and it goes overboard. Not only is there the one main storyline that we have to follow, we get flashbacks, dream sequences, which never factor into the main plot, which is annoying. It's incoherent. That's a word you're gonna hear a lot to be based around Batman v Superman. Incoherent. You see, here's the problem. Batman v Superman was supposed to be a movie that would fix Man of Steel, and that's not the case. Batman v Superman is going to need another movie to fix this movie. The fixer needs fixing, and I'm really sad to say that this movie will be getting the movie doctor treatment very, very soon. But here's where it gets really interesting. Batman v Superman has some really cool themes and really cool subtext of gods walking the earth and man versus God and all that stuff. We only get to see an inch of that, and those themes and subtexts never really come out at you through our main characters. This film to me is the Phantom Menace of the DC extended universe. Overloaded of characters and a needlessly complicated plot. I did not like this film, and I enjoyed the first hour of this film, but it falls apart on itself really badly when Zack Snyder seems to be getting more and more control, and I like Zack Snyder. I think Watchmen is a fantastic film, and he makes this into a violent action film instead of an actual narrative. And the main character to me of the film was the friggin' villain. This is utter dog shit. I'm giving this film a final score of 2 out of 5. I urge you to not see this film in theaters and to save your hard-earned money in your pockets, because the filmmakers have not put in enough hard work to make a good film. And you know why that is? Because they haven't even made a film. They've made a product. This is not a film. This is just a product that is designed to sell other products. Do not see Batman v Superman, for the love of God. And if you like this film, please tell me why in the comments below. I would love to have a conversation about this. Thank you very much for watching, people. If you enjoyed this video and agree with my opinion, please hit that free subscribe button, man. It's free. And I will see you next time. Until then, remember to love yourselves.